In this lesson, we're going to be talking about intervals. And intervals are the distance between any two notes. So let's look at what each of the intervals are and then explain the theory behind it. To begin with, to make it easy, let's start and just go up and down a single string. In this case, I'm going to take an open D string. And if you play an open D or a D note and follow it up with another D note, then that's going to be a unison. If I were to play a D note and then come up here to an E flat, that's the smallest interval that we have, which is called a minor second. It's also referred to as a semitone or a half step. And on the guitar, you can find all your semitones and half steps. They're just going to be anything that's one fret away. So going up a half step, that's a minor second. Going down, that's a minor second, descending. So coming back here to the open D to an E flat note is a minor second interval. The next largest interval we have is a 2 frets apart called a major second. The next interval, which is 3 frets apart, is a minor third. Then 4 frets apart is a major third. Then 5 frets apart is a perfect fourth. 6 frets apart, this is what's usually referred to as a tritone. In this case, we can either call it an augmented fourth or a diminished fifth. Then we come up here 7 frets apart. We have a perfect fifth. 8 frets apart, we have a minor sixth, a major sixth, 9 frets apart, minor seventh, major seventh, and then the perfect octave. So to recap, the different interval names are a unison, a minor second, a major second, a minor third, major third, perfect fourth, augmented fourth or diminished fifth, perfect fifth, minor sixth, major sixth, minor seventh, major seventh, and octave. Now, the reason I like to cover it all on one string to begin with is because it helps you see the distance between the intervals. When you can hear how these two notes are very close together and feel the distance and see it with your eyes, it makes it easier to understand. And this is probably one of the reasons why piano players or keyboard players have such an easier time learning music theory, and that's because everything is laid out in a very linear straight line. They have the lowest notes on the left to the highest notes on the right, and they don't have all these repeating notes. So what happens as guitar players, we often tend to think in terms of learning intervals by patterns, maybe shapes of fifths, and these different things. But to begin with, when you're first learning the intervals and learning interval theory, I highly suggest just keeping it all on a single string and working your way up or working your way down, and then start transposing those same intervals to different shapes across the strings. So we have the 12 tones in music, and then we have the 12 interval relationships that can occur between those tones. You'll also notice that there's only a few different numbers associated with the intervals. And what I mean by that is there's 7 basic different interval numbers. We have the unisons or octaves, which is basically like saying a 1, if you want to call it that. And then we have what would be the seconds, minor seconds and major seconds. We have the thirds, minor thirds and major thirds, the fourths, the fifths, the minor and major sixths, and the minor and major sevenths. So 7 different interval numbers, and we also have the 7 different letter names for the pitches: A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and that's it. Then it repeats at the A. So that's something to just kind of make a mental note of now. You'll start to see how all of this plays together when we start constructing chords and scales. But for the time being, the important thing is that you memorize the names of the different intervals and the different qualities of intervals. And the qualities are the minor, major, perfect, augmented, and diminished, and know which ones those are associated with. So as long as you can sit at a guitar, and you can do that exact same exercise of just going up here and just name, is this a, what is the interval quality of this? Well, well, that's going to be a minor second. And eventually, you might start working your way up: minor second, minor third, major third, perfect fourth, and know the names of all those different intervals. But then be able to take any interval at random. So let's say starting on this open D, take an open D and then play the 9th fret and go, what interval is 9 frets apart? And that is a major 6. And start to quiz yourself on being able to identify all the different things. So, okay, it's 4 frets apart. That's a major 3rd. That's a major 7th. Augmented 4th, diminished 5th. Major 2nd. Really be able to do that where you can name the interval qualities. These intervals, they work the same ascending as they are descending in terms of the distance. So open D to the 4th fret is a major 3rd, and if you were to start on the 4th fret, for instance, and come down to a open D, that would be a major 3rd interval as well. So whether you're ascending or descending, that is a major 3rd interval. Same thing here. Let's say we go from the 5th fret to the 1st fret on the D. Those are still 4 frets apart, so that is still a major 3rd